Good day. My name is Sandra Asante, and this is the afternoon news on Ghana Talks Radio. I welcome you to where to our main stories. Easter Friday church shooting, 10-year-old undergoes surgery, others recovering. Honorable Annoh-Dompreh charges IGP to bring Panpanso land guards to book. Also, nearly 2,000 Kenyan police mentally unfit to serve. This and more stories after the break. Stay tuned.
We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
You're most welcome back from the break to very first story. On Good Friday, an Easter convention at the Heaven Embassy Chapel was disrupted by 4 armed men who blocked 3 entries to the church auditorium. Over 70 people, mostly indigents of the Atuahene, were held hostage for about 30 minutes as the robbers demanded their personal belongings. All we heard was an order for the lights to be put off. On the third command, they shot into the congregation. The shot fired injured some children here, but we didn't know. One of the robbers started walking through the church auditorium, taking money and the phones of the congregants. Prophet Bernard Apia Fobi, one of the preachers invited for the event, explained. Reverend Newton explained that she was shot in both legs. I really apologize that we have some technical issues. We'll definitely get the sounds for you to listen. But about 200 meters from the church lives a 12-year-old Juliana Amankwa as she sits on a bench surrounding her family. Just below the knee, a bandage covers the injury sustained from the shootings. She narrated that when she he could feel the flesh. It was a deep wound. The skin was off and it has been bitten by an animal. Her mother, also a farmer, is forced to abandon her daily routine on the farm to cater for her distraught daughter. To our next story, the National Conference of Principals of the Colleges of Education, Ghana, PRINCOF, has directed that teacher trainees to start funding their own feeding from May 8. This directive is in response to the inability of the Colleges of Education to make payment for food items supplied to them. According to the PRINCOF, food suppliers who had continued delivering supplies to these colleges of education for months without payment have finally withdrawn their services till they receive the monies owed them. Most colleges now have food items that can last only 1 week if students are to be provided with 3 meals a day, PRINCOF said in a letter to the Education Minister. To this end, PRINCOF suggested that, and I quote, trainee teachers will be provided with 2 meals, breakfast and supper only, for 1 week from April 23rd to April 30th, 2022. Trainee teachers from May 1st to May 8th, 2022 shall be given lunch only. After May 8th, trainee teachers will be asked to provide their own meals until their feeding allowances have been paid, it said. Meanwhile, food vendors are being encouraged to increase the quantity of daily meals they cook for sale to students. These measures are meant to ensure that there is no disruption of the academic calendar, it concluded. A 14-year-old girl has met her untimely death at Kokrobite beach in the Gas South municipality of the Greater Accra region. Report indicates the incident happened on Easter Monday when the deceased, who is a junior high school pupil of Kokrobite Presby School, went to the beach with her friends to help her mother sail. She was said to be relaxing on some rocks packed at the beachside when a heavy storm blew over the place, causing some of the rocks to split and fall on her. She was rushed to the Kokrobite hospital but sadly passed away. The incident has thrown her family and schoolmates into a state of shock as they are still in shock over the circumstances that led to her death. The victim's mother, Patient Jochi, emotionally explained what exactly happened and how she regrets going out that day to sell.
My friend na me catch it offer Yamanin bread. It's your form no call. And baby I see one. And when you remember na me try me chinu. Blog na go. It's me say. Me Yamanin po na go for me. Me catch up here say. Me see me ni na go for ni mo no. It's a book of bread me. But me try to live in the way. Because you're the me body that form no. I'm sure there's a blog video. Blogging that is in the page. Me poor me acha me miserable. Some mommy na come pa. It's on me. Some mommy. Obia some mommy na make it that is I need to be frustrated. It's a make it that is me say school for me na my. Me say hey, mu na go dey go school. Who some na yan go through. Omo some ya some ma say mo ba say na mo ja ni free.
The assemblyman for Kokrobite electoral area, Saka Alote, also confirmed the incident, stating that the body has been deposited at the mortuary and he is also seeking the police to investigate the incident.
Information I mean can interest ya punu na odware on ma me koton ade na say abobo say den na bon na ma na ahwe ne nkwa police won nya nhwehwemu na na esi port ansa na sa asem enya dekora yi esi because abofra owo JHS 3 akomoma kwan the next week amu be school enche obetro ne exam so de akwala honyare na okọ mpo ano nya say bi okoji ne ba okoboa ne ma me amamoto aduane ana omaton ade na onsan me fi de.
Still a local stories. A member of Parliament for Ntawam Adrodri, Annoh-Dompreh, has called on the Inspector General of Police, George Kokrobite, to intervene as soon as possible in the ongoing tussle at Panpanso No. 2, where some masked men demolished homes of community members. On Sunday dawn, the residents were asleep when some masked men suspected to be land guards from the village and started pulling down buildings. The majority chief whip, who wasn't happy with the incident, together with the National Disaster Management Organization NADMO officials, on Tuesday went to the community to sympathize with the affected victims. He also donated 250 bags of cement, several quantities of roofing sheet, and 20,000 cedis to the affected victims. The MP's reaction follows some concerns raised by the chiefs of the settlement community on how the police are conspiring with the land guards and terrorizing them. He assured the community members that he will visit the IGP on Wednesday to table the issue before him. Mr. Annoh-Dompreh expressed worry about how the police are in bed with the land guards who took the law into their own hands. He continued to call on the IGP to deploy his men to the community to safeguard the affected resident. However, 4 more suspects are in connection with the illegal demolition exercise at Panpanso No. 2 have been arrested, together with the earlier suspect arrested are in the grips of the police. Speaking to the Eastern Regional Police Command PROASP Ebenezer Tete, he said the suspect was smoked out at Tichamante and the suspect are Mason Kwame Abovi, a 49-year-old musician, Kweku Bodi, a 35-year-old Mason, Taye Dixon, a 33-year-old Okada rider, Afia Deyu, and 35-year-old welder Benjamin Annoh. He said in all, the police have 7 suspects in their custody. He said the prime suspect is still on the run and the police are on his wheels. DSP Tete espoused that they are being investigated and will be charged accordingly and arraigned before the court to face the full rulers of the law. We now take our focus on business, and banking consultant Dr. Richmond Atuahene has said that the recent directive by the Bank of Ghana to banks and other financial institutions to expressly capture their right of enforcement under the Borrowers and Lenders Act will empower the lenders to dispose of defaulting customers' collaterals without hassling to repay their loans, whilst helping to reduce non-performing loans. Welcoming the directive by the central bank, Dr. Atuahene said the recalcitrant borrowers would not be able to take banks for granted anymore. The directive is coming after the Bank of Ghana observed what some borrowers are unaware of lenders' rights of enforcement under the Borrowers and Lenders Act. Speaking to the media, Dr. Atuahene said the central bank is helping to improve the banking system. Furthermore, the banking consultant pointed out the Bank of Ghana directive would send signals to borrowers that lenders have the power to take them on when they default in repaying their loans. Minority Leader in Parliament Haruna Idrisu and 2 NDC MPs are urging the Supreme Court to restrain the Ghana Revenue Authority (GRA) from its planned implementation of the electronic transaction levy E-Levy on May 1st. Together with Mahama Ayariga and Samuel Okuduto Ablakwa, the MPs have sued the Attorney General, urging the Parliament did not have the required number of at least half of its members present when the controversial tax policy was approved. Before the case is determined by the Supreme Court, the legislatures want this interim measure in place. Private legal practitioner Godwin Tamaklo, who filed the document on behalf of the MP, says a failure to restrain the GRA would create a situation of possible irreparable harm to taxpayers. This will lead to the unfortunate situation of government unjustly enriching itself based on illegalities at the expense of citizens of Ghana and all other persons in Ghana.
Probable damage will be done to them, the 3 MPs, as well as the generality of Ghanaians, if the court does not injunct the Ghana Revenue Authority and its implementation partners from going ahead from implementing the E-Levy. We know that government says a plan to start collecting the tax measure from 1st of May, that is just a few days away. And so if you go to the specific application that they've made, and the affidavit in support of this application for injunction was deposed by Honorable Samuel Okuduto Ablakwa, who is part of the 3 NDC MPs who have sent this case to court. The substance or the crux of the argument is that if government starts collection of the tax measure, that is by 1st May, and the court is to find that the Parliament, by passing the E-Levy, did not have the requisite numbers to do so, the people who have had their money deducted will find it difficult to get government to give them the money. On the other hand, they contend that should...
On international front, a Nigerian military helicopter has crashed in the northern city of Kaduna. Military sources says 2 pilots were on board and training aircraft when it came down on Tuesday evening. The cause of the crash and the fate of the pilot are still unclear. Kaduna State is considered the epicenter of the attacks by armed gangs that have killed hundreds of people and forced thousands to flee their homes. Kidnapping for ransom has also become a commonplace across the state. In the past year, at least 4 Nigerian military aircraft have been involved in deadly crashes, including one that killed the country's army chief and dozens of other soldiers. The authorities have not made public details of investigations into previous accidents. Still in Nigeria, at least 5 people have been killed and 19 others seriously injured in a blast in Taraba State in northeast Nigeria. The explosion on Tuesday evening occurred at a bar in Iwari, a busy commercial center near the state capital, Jalingo. Police spokesperson Abdullahi Isaman said one suspected attacker has died, but it wasn't clear whether he was a suicide bomber. Eyewitnesses says the explosive was inside the bag that was hidden at the bar. Iwari is a major market town where traders from different parts of the country buy and sell livestock and foodstuffs. At least 11 people, including the attacker, died in the blast, which was blamed on Islamic militant group Boko Haram. We are in Kenya, and almost 2,000 Kenyan police officers are mentally unfit to do their work, the head of the National Police Service says. Inspector General Hilary Matiyamba on Tuesday told the Forum of Bishops and Senior Clergy that they have found a surprising number of cases after medically examining all police officers. Kenya has some 100,000 police officers working under the National Police Service. The revelation comes amid a rising number of depression and suicide within the police force. Mr. Matiyamba said they have started the process of discharging some of the affected police officers from duty, noting the importance of having police who were mentally fit.
We have now come up with a medical board for the police. We have subjected all the officers once again. And to our surprise, we have got a big number, almost to 2,000 officers who are unfit to do the police work. I have now started processing this process. To remove somebody when you have given him a job is not easy. The government has its own procedures. If they have managed to sneak from my recruitment level, which and I told you I had to be very strict so that I can detect them at that level, I also follows them again when they are working and subject them their mental health test. And interestingly,
Still international stories. A Marine commander in the last Ukrainian stronghold in the besieged city of Mariupol issued a video message in the early hours of Wednesday morning saying his men might have only hours left. In a video sent to the BBC and other media, Major Sahib Ulana said his troops would not surrender, but he pleaded for international assistance for the 500 wounded soldiers and hundreds of women and children he said were hiding with them at the steel plant in the city. This is our last address to the world. It may be our last one ever. It is possible that we have just days or hours left, Major Volina said. We call on world leaders to please help us. We urge them to organize an extraction to take us to the third country. The Avostal Iron and Steel Works, a massive square mine plant, have become the last redoubt for the Ukrainian resistance in Mariupol. The unit of the enemy exceeded dozens of times. They prevail in the air, in artilleries and in ground troops, in the machines and tanks. Major continued to say who is the commander of the 36th Marine Brigade. He declined to say how many Ukrainian troops were left in the plant, but he said that they had good fighting spirit. The situation for the wounded was very bad. However, they are in the basement. They are just rotting there.
Це наше звернення до світу. Це може бути нашим останнім зверненням. В нас, можливо, залишились лічні дні або години. Угрупування противника десятки разів перебільшує нас. Вони мають панування у повітрі, в артилерії, в угрупуваннях, які діють на суходолі, технікою та танками. Ми ведемо оборону на одному об'єкті, на заводі, де знаходяться військові Маріупольського гарнізону та цивільні особи, які потрапили в пастку війни. Ми звертаємось до світових лідерів допомогти нам. Ми звертаємось з проханням застосувати до нас процедуру екстракшн та вивести нас на територію третьої держави. Маріупольський гарнізон військових, з нами більше ніж 500 поранених бійців та сотні цивільних осіб, серед яких є жінки та діти. Ми просимо надати нам безпеку на території третьої.
That was Major Volina calling on the international, helpers to help them to be able to evacuate them from the basement in Ukraine. Also, Mariupol has been strategic goal for Russia since its forces invaded Ukraine in February. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told the BBC last week that he believed up to 20,000 people may have been killed in Mariupol by the Russian bombardment of the city and unknown numbers taken into Russian territory. To entertainment stories, people are frightened to reveal themselves because they think they will be blacklisted and won't get jobs if they will report bullies at work, says film director Brian Hill. The BAFTA-winning director is also concerned after bullying in the film and TV industry that he has made a short film called Toxic, which features 4 anonymous hunting testimonies voiced by actors. This great film producer Harvey Weinstein is perhaps the most notorious case of toxic behavior in that field of work. Weinstein was sentenced to 23 years in prison for rape and sexual assault in 2020. Actresses including Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek, Patrol and Rose McGowan spoke out against him before his New York court case. But award-winning director Hill says problems in the industry persist and many workers don't feel confident about voicing their complaints. Netflix has hinted it will crack down on household sharing passwords as it seeks to sign up new members following a sharp fall in subscribers. Some 200,000 people left the streaming service in the first 3 months of the year as it faced intense competition from rivals. It was also hit after it raised prices in some countries and left Russia. Netflix warns stakeholders another 2 million subscribers were likely to leave in the 3 months to July. Our revenue growth has slowed considerably, the firm told shareholders on Tuesday after publishing its first quarter results. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon for the afternoon news. You can log on to our website www.ghanatalksradio.com for more news updates. My name is Sandra Asante. Stay tuned for the sport debate. Enjoy your afternoon.